Welcome to part two of the AMICO Picture Perfect image creation process. For part two, we're going to be working through the software in the specific settings that we'll need to create imagery that is very close to the manufacturing process in real life. So for whatever image it is that you're creating, we're going to start in Photoshop. You'll want to set your canvas size equal to the size that you're trying to fill. So for the sake of this demonstration, we'll be thinking that our panel size is 48 by 120. So you'll go to image to canvas to set your canvas size. And I've got a couple images already loaded up here. I was going to start with a kind of a leaf pattern, and then I'll add some noise to that. My objective here is to kind of create an image that is varied and abstract, but still kind of even and uniform across the panel. So once I have that all set up, or whatever your imagery looks like that you want to set up, you'll go ahead and go to File, and then Export, and Export As. The great thing about the Export As function is that once you select JPEG, you can select the quality. And because we're going to be creating such a kind of low resolution image at the end of the day, we can move that quality down very low to create a nice small file size. And then you'll just hit Export, and you're all set. One thing too that's nice about the paragraphic design program that we're going to be going through is that it's very easy to kind of switch between images. So while we're in Photoshop, I'll go ahead and open up a couple other duplicate images that I have set up. And let's say we want to invert the image that we're going to run. So I'll go ahead and just have these duplicate layers set, and I'll go to Image, Adjust, and then Invert. And then same for this second layer here, Image, Adjust, Invert. And so this will create an inverted image, which will kind of create a different hole pattern that we'll see, and we'll touch on that here once we switch programs. So in a similar way, we'll go to File, Export, and then Export As. And then we'll move our quality down to manage our file size, and then hit Export. And then texture one, I'll just add the word invert to the end so we can keep it separate. So once we have all that, we're ready to move over to the Paragraphic program itself. When you open Paragraphic, they'll give you a default artboard, and we'll want to start by editing that. So we'll come over here to the left-hand side, select Artboard, and over here on the right side, all our controls start to appear. So we'll be able to select that, and we know that our image was 48 inches by 120. So we'll type in 48 and then 120, and then we're set. The controls for zooming and fitting are down here at the bottom, so we'll hit Fit to get the whole canvas into view, and we'll start there. The next step is to import the images that we just created. So we'll go to File, Import Image, and it was Texture 1, and I'm going to go ahead and bring in, we'll just start with Texture 1, and then we'll do File, Import Image, Texture 1 Invert. So both images are now into our canvas, and the nice thing about setting the image size perfectly to your canvas is that they import directly on center right where we want them. So now the next step is to go ahead and hide the images. We're going to go ahead and hit these visibility icons here by the image to hide them. And the next thing we're going to want to do is to create the whole pattern that will base everything on. So I'm going to select the circle tool here, and I'm holding down the Shift button and drawing out a perfect circle here. Now once I select on the circle, I'm going to come over here and change the color to black. And then for the stroke, I'm going to turn the stroke off so there's no line around the circle at all. The next thing I'm going to do here for the circle is change the radius. I'm going to change that to 0.0625, and that is the minimum radius of the hole that we want. Remember, if you remember from video 1, we talked about the smallest hole size for this instance that we're going through is 1/8 of an inch in diameter. So half of that for the radius would be 0.06125. The last step for the hole is you're going to want to come down here to layer transformation. This describes the location, the center point location of the hole. We'll want to change that to 0 and then 0. So that puts that circle directly onto that top left edge. Now to repeat this in an array, we'll come over here to select the Repeat Area tool. We'll click on that, and then we'll come over here and drag and drag out the box, and this will cover the entire canvas in a very small circle pattern that we'll then want to configure and then tie to the images to create the image pattern. So starting over here on grid, this is a subjective area that you can select different options on. Right now, the holes are aligned completely up and down. You can offset them or create a hex grid. For most of the projects I work on, hex grid tends to work the best because as curves and arcs are, come across the canvas, you get a nice kind of stepped hole pattern that keeps your edges nice and smooth. So after I select hex grid, the next thing I'm going to do is work on the spacing. If you remember, we talked about our grid spacing. The most cost-effective solution is to create that grid spacing at 1 inch. So we'll change spacing to 1. And then the next thing we're going to want to do is connect the image, the grid to the image. So we'll select Add Node, go down to Group, and Apply Layer. And this brings up a new window here. And right here, you see this, this warning sign that says layer connection required. So we're going to take this and drag it over to texture image number 1. So you see it is very subtle, but the image did change just a little bit. So now our image and our grid are kind of tied together. The last step to see that really clearly is this scale range. And so we'll want to change that to 1 and 7. And what that's doing is saying we're taking the radius, and the smallest size is going to be multiplied by 1, and the largest size is going to be multiplied by 7. And the important part of that is that keeps us confined to the true to life manufacturing constraints that we'll be working with. So once we did that, you'll see here in the canvas, we get this nice varied image that is really beautiful, and you're essentially done. The last step would be to file, export, and then export it as a PNG, so you can import that into your rendering program and use that as a transparency map. Now, as far as your process goes for kind of playing with images to understand different looks, or if you have multiple images you're going through, you can. I loaded multiple images here, and it's really easy to kind of disconnect here. So I just pull off that little connection, and now I'm going to connect it to the other image that we said we called invert. And now you kind of get a taste of what it would look like if we inverted that pattern to create a different type of hole pattern. You'll see this a lot when you are working through whether you're wanting to backlight a installation or have something dark behind the installation, and we'll cover the details of that in video number 3.